Kofeena coffee, the refreshing taste of coffee. उनकी ओर से एक और एपिसोड लेकर आज हम हाजिर हो गए हैं. This is another episode and we have a very special guest. We have been sort of very busy lately, doing so many different things. And today I managed to get hold of him. He's no other than the CEO of FCCC, Mr. Joel Ibrahim. A very good day, sir. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me here.
Mm-hmm. This program is very much sort of like, we'd like to know in depth about you, details, a little bit here and there, chit chat, have fun. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We hear a lot about you.
Yeah.
And this is more to do with the job that you do, the line of work that you do, and the criticisms you get and all those things. How does it feel to be in that kind of limelight?
I never really wanted to be in the limelight.
But you are already, na?
I am already.
You can't pull yourself out.
Yeah, and so I accept that being a public official, you can't always keep everybody happy. There'll always be people that will criticize you. There'll always be people that will think there was a better way to do it. You know?
Do you know that you are branded, that this person is not in our favor, things like that?
Yeah, I think the world is very obsessed with labels.
Yes.
And we tend to assign labels to a lot of things. I personally am here to work for the betterment of my country, my people. I want to see everybody have a better life. Because personally I've come from, I've seen hardships myself. My dad was a reverend growing up, and he had to take a job in the now what's the FRCS.
Yes.
He used to be those preventive officers that did the gate at the King's Wharf. I've seen hard times as well, and every day that I work, for me, I owe a duty of care to the average Fijian, the Ramsami in the village, the Chone in the village, the fishermen, people that can't access or assess financial data, people that can't do those things. I believe onus is on me to do right now.
Is it tough?
Yeah, I mean,
trying to please people, trying to make others happy, trying to make yourself happy.
Yes, so what I do is I try not to make anybody happy. I try to do what is right, and I believe that if you do what is right, everything will fall into its place. You'll have some criticism here and there.
Yeah, so the line of work that you do get criticism and all those things. Of course, we do understand it. We do go through all those social media posts and all those things. Has there been a day where you sort of felt like having a wrong profession or things like that?
No, I quite enjoy it.
You enjoy it?
You
enjoy all the attention?
No, I enjoy doing what I do because I know at the end of the day, my saving grace is the fact that I can go and have a good night's sleep knowing I've done some good for the country. So for me, that is job satisfaction.
There is another factor to it, probably the pace at which things are changing. And that's why there are some people who get very frustrated, is it? Do you think you can fast track things?
We do fast track in terms of, depending on, if you're looking at, say, price reviews. Price reviews, they're generally set, the time periods in which we review it.
There's a template to it.
There's a template to it. There's a regulatory framework to it. Say the electricity tariffs. Once every 4 years, we'll change it. Unless there's a major event that requires us to change it ad hoc. Food prices, because of the nature of perishable items, we'll have to change it on a daily basis or as we receive submission. Now, consumer complaints is where I get most of the complaints from. We filed a complaint, we've been waiting for 3 months, 6 months. It's with the court, what are you guys doing? So, few things is we have a small team that investigates, and we investigate any complaint that comes. So sometimes you'll come in and lodge a complaint. It may look like a small matter to you, but there's already people in the line ahead of you. So it's a free service. Now, if you feel that your right as a consumer has been violated, there are other avenues that you can take on. The FCCC is an avenue that will be FOC, independent regulator, independently will assess, and where we feel charges need to be pressed, we'll file charges. Now, once we file charges, it goes to the court. It's out of our hands. I get calls from very frustrated people saying, it's been in the court system for 6 months now, 12 months.
Which is not in your hand right now.
Then we have to explain to them that judiciary is separate from the FCCC.
Okay, you also go to different supermarkets, the price and all those things that you check. Was there any time where you walked into a supermarket and then somebody says in the supermarket, "Arey, kahan se log aayenge yaar?" Every time.
Every day. So this is the paradox that I live in. Right? I just finished a meeting this morning with one of the companies selling milk and butter. They came to us and said, "You've reduced the price. You too consumer centric.
Okay.
You need to balance it out." With the consumers, when we go out in the communities, or when I read some comments on social media, they say these guys have sold themselves to the businesses. They just do things for the businesses. The real answer is we do favors to no one. Our job is to balance consumer interest with business interest because they are all Fijians. The idea is that there should be a win-win in the market. So when we regulate, we don't only look at pricing. So pricing, say, take this cup of coffee for example. Right now it's in abundant supply, it's cheaper. Say for example, tomorrow there's climate change, something happens and there's a major fire or something at the coffee plantation, global disruption, or a coffee producing country like Brazil decides we don't want to sell our coffee beans out anymore, there's a domestic policy. What happens in the global market is the demand still remains, supply has reduced, so price shoots up. When price shoots up in the overseas market, we have to factor that increase in the local market. If we don't increase the price, what will happen is affordability will be maintained. There will be no availability, there will be no reliability of supply, and nor will there be sustainability of operations. So we have to balance these four pillars and then come out with a pricing determination.
It's a tough job, I must say, and sometimes we do question and we have our own way of looking things. But do you get inspired by some people? I mean, I'm talking about the world leaders or anybody you get very inspired with the work they do and you want to carry it forward or anything like that?
Yes, I do draw inspiration from a few world leaders, few business leaders. Mr. Narayana Murthy, who's the CEO of Infosys,
yeah.
From a startup to $1 billion tech firm.
Yeah.
And what he said is leaders generally fail when they cut off channels of feedback, negative feedbacks, whether it was Robert Mugabe or Indira Gandhi. You'll find that these leaders failed because they cut off channels of feedback. So after some time, you have people saying only good things about you. And you don't get the negative side of it. Now, whatever we do today, you can improve tomorrow. I believe in a better me concept. We almost can improve everything that we are doing. So, if there's a way, if somebody is saying something, let's not take on the negativities. Let's take why is this person saying it? What is driving this behavior? As early as last week, somebody said, went on one of those blog sites and said, crucify. We should introduce crucifixion in relation to me. I did not take regard to what they said. What I look at is why are they saying it? What is driving this behavior? So I looked at majority of the sentiments are coming from the fact that cost of living is going up. It's happening globally. It's a global phenomenon. If you just Google cost of living 23-24, you will have the UN reports, the FAO reports showing you globally it's a problem. Fiji is a price taker. So when it happens globally, we adjust it here. Now, pre-elections, I used to go around and say, look, the government has no control on prices. And most recently, I think the finance minister has also confirmed, government doesn't decide prices. So whether it was the old government or the present government or any governments in the future, our people have to understand price is a function of the market. Market changes, the prices will change. Government can come up with certain policies during their budgetary cycle and say either will subsidize or will remove duty. A large extent of which we've already done. We've liberalized our taxation system. We've looked at all of that. And in the last budget, we had the finance minister announce a duty reduction on things like canned fish. If you see, the prices of canned fish have been coming down. As early as last week, we did the price reviews and the prices were seen on a downward path.
Okay, you can still enjoy your coffee. Kofeena coffee, refreshing taste of coffee की ओर से episode. Joel Abraham, FCCC के CEO आज हमारे studios के खास मेहमान, special guest. Any rumor that you were surprised with? I mean, you heard that rumor and you were sort of like about yourself or?
Yes. In fact, I attended the funeral for Mr. Vinod Patel and I met a government minister.
Okay.
And we were talking about tariffs.
Yeah.
And so I explained to him how tariff works, and he said, no, we have to be careful because you might cost us the next election. I said, sir, you give me too much power. I work for the people of Fiji, and the decisions that I do will make sure that all the decisions are consulted, and you will know full well about it.
Okay.
That being said, if prices are increasing, we can't stop it.
On a personal level, what is that unique feature in yourself that you admire and others admire? Anything that's unique in yourself? Do you get angry? Do you get upset?
Yeah, I think I feel all the
Do you cry?
normal human emotions. Yes. I'll share with you. During COVID, we were going out and looking at all these landlords and tenancies and people, because they were laid off. They were facing so much trouble. And a lot of it was not help that they could receive under law, because the law says if you don't pay rent.
Yeah.
Eventually, the landlord will get a court order and ask you to vacate. During COVID, a lot of people were getting notices to vacate homes, and they had no form of income. So I would get calls where people would call me and start crying. After some time, after the third, fourth week going into post-March, going into COVID, April, June, one day I sat at the table and I thought about, I received a call from a mother who had no money to buy a baby milk. And that touched my heart, and I was like, while I have to be very objective and I can't let emotions get the best of me in my job.
Right.
That day I just sat at the table and I just broke down. I just couldn't take it. The level of misery that people were suffering, I just got to me.
That COVID time, right?
During COVID.
So what time your day starts actually?
It starts very early.
Early?
So
As early as?
5:30.
Oh, I started 3:30. So anyway.
So and then I do a bit of physical activity, some training, and then I look at my emails. So first thing I do is when I get up, is I get off my bed, I read the Bible, I have a short prayer, thank God for a new day, a new life. Because when somebody asks me, how are you, aap kaise, I always say, theek hai, I'm well and good, I'm alive. It could be worse, I could be dead,
No, so you can't be dying like that.
So
you got a lot of work to be done.
So I am grateful for every new day that I receive, and I take it as a blessing. Whatever has happened yesterday, no matter how bad it was, that's yesterday's problem. Today we find new solutions.
You will get definitely different criticisms and here and there, especially on the social media. Do you get feedback from the people? Hey, there's something about you on the social media. Do you get that kind of?
Yes. So I personally am not on social media. I am not on Facebook or Instagram. But I have friends that will see these posts. They will take a screenshot and send it to me.
Okay. But at least you are in the limelight there.
No, so I say to them, guys, I don't want to read it. One, because a lot of that is driven largely by hate.
Yeah.
I would love to have people who have strong opinions. Give me a call, reach out to me, set up a meeting. Let's have coffee or let's have tea. Let's sit down and let's hear each other's views, because I think it's only through that constructive dialogue, talanoa, that we can understand each other's perspective and move the country forward.
And what is that most rewarding thing that you sort of you get when you sort of like you start your day or you throughout the day?
Oh, I know that when I turn up to work, I'm not going to be making money for any corporate, or I'm going to be purely working for the betterment of the people. And that in itself is something that gets me up and into the office. Even sometimes when I'm on leave, you'll find me in the office. I hardly am able to take leave, but I'll usually be around or doing something, meeting somebody. I have a problem. I can't switch off.
Okay.
So
very much aligned to your work and all.
Yes, because sometimes I'll get complaints and I'll get queries. I think the most notable one is several years back. This gentleman calls me up from Kandabu. He says it's 2 in the morning. So I pick up the phone and he says, I just finished a grog session. I'm just going home. I wanted to buy some tin fish. Can you tell me what the price of tin fish is?
At 2 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, wow. So I said to him, my apologies, sir, I don't have the list in front of me right now. But if I can check and get back to you in the morning, but this is what the price range should be.
Oh, okay. But at least you made him happy in a sense that you responded.
Yeah, because I've always said it. We are public officials. We are here, and I think sometimes as public officials we miss the point that we are public servants. And our job is to make people's lives easier. And I tend to ensure that I do my best not to make anybody's life hard.
Kofeena Coffee, the refreshing taste of coffee. उनकी ओर से एपिसोड में मिस्टर जोएल इब्राहिम आज हमारे खास मेहमान. Of course, Kofeena Coffee, the refreshing taste that it gives, और वो भी sponsored by Kofeena. What is your greatest strength?
I always say I've got two strengths.
Okay.
One is foresight, and the other one is I'm relentless. Foresight meaning I will sit down, I will look at a situation and say, okay, what are the best things that can happen? What's the worst thing? And let's prepare for everything. Maybe it's the accountant in me. We always prepare for the worst case scenario.
We gossip about you. Do you gossip about us? I'm just general thing.
I honestly, maybe I would like to, but I just don't get time. Sometimes I don't see the color of my house in daylight.
Okay.
Because I leave when it's night. Dark, and when I get back, it's dark.
It's dark. Yeah.
So sometimes I don't have the luxury to sit down and I'll have family. I'll meet.
Hey, was there any time you realized, I think I've done enough, I better quit this job, I do something different? Or your family, there was a family pressure, hey, enough is enough?
No, in fact, 2 years ago, I had a chat with the former minister.
Yeah.
And I said to him, sir, I would like to not do this for a long period. And my reason was not that I was tired, is because I believe that the role is very powerful role. Right? And I don't think for governance purposes somebody should be there for too long. I said to the minister, I'd like to do other things and contribute in other ways to the country. Maybe in an advisory capacity I can provide that linkage so there's no breakdown in organizational delivery and this continuity. But I had said 2 years ago, look, I think for governance purposes somebody else should come in, and I feel like this. As leaders, what we do is we can get our organization from somewhere and take it to a certain level. My predecessor, Mr. Maharaj, he did his best. His predecessor did his best. I continuously do my best. So I feel if there's somebody else that comes in at some point in time, they will definitely take the organization to the next level, to greater heights. My job is to make sure I give my best, and that's what I do. Every morning I get up, and every day I'm at work. I have this philosophy. As a CEO, my job is to make myself redundant. When I've made myself purely redundant and the office can operate without me, I've been a successful CEO.
Apart from your busy schedule, do you have that sort of like social time, watching movies or anything like that? Do you watch movies?
Yeah, I mean,
Bollywood?
Sometimes
English?
Bollywood, Hollywood, depends on whatever is on TV. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go home and I'll just stay in one of these comedy series like Friends, The Big Bang, short series. Yeah. Just open it up, have a quick laugh, de-stress, or I usually like to sit with my mom, have a chat with her, see how her day was. Although she stays at home, find out how.
Listen
her day
to
was.
music?
Yes, when I drive.
Any particular singer you just your favorite, old times or the very recent singers or anyone?
I'm a Kishore Kumar fan.
Okay. 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s. I like listening to older music.
Okay. Tere Jaisa Yaar Kahan, all those things.
A bit more old. But those ones, because हमें ऐसे लगे कि those songs, they had a lot of meaning behind it. And
are you savory or a sweet?
Savory.
Savory? Why can't you call yourself sweet?
No, I feel like I'm already sweet, so I need to balance it out with the savory. Although the businesses that I regulate may not agree.
Okay. So if you had to pick one fashion period, fashion time, and you'd like to get stuck into it, which one would it be?
I'd say the 90s, because that's where my teenage years went.
Yeah.
So
Did you miss anything in 90s?
I think if I had time, I'd go and enjoy the 90s more. I appreciate a world that was unplugged.
Okay.
Bahir jaake khelo, and you play soccer with your friends.
If you were stuck in an elevator with 3 people, which 3 people would it be?
So 3 people, and I assume I can't say God. Right?
No, you can't be stuck in the God with the God and
or human version of God. No, so I'd say I'd like to be in there with Narayan Murthy.
Yeah.
I'd like to be there with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be there with Keanu Reeves.
And anybody in local?
Locally,
Your family or your sort of like mother or
oh yeah, I mean, if it was my last
wish or anything?
I'd have my parents and my family there with me.
Okay.
But
One thing women need to know about you.
I'm not scary. A lot of people generally find my demeanor intimidating. So, and I'm a regulator.
Yeah.
I have to be hard. But I'm generally a very approachable, kind, friendly. Not just for women, for everybody. I'm very approachable. So if you have any issues, if I can help, I will help.
3 things that you can't leave the house without. 3 things. 3 things.
I've never really thought of that. 3 things I can't live with.
Like for me, without mobile, it would be tough.
You know, I usually forget my mobile and then I have to come in and then collect it.
Collect it again.
I would say I can't leave the house without the keys because I need to get in the car.
Exactly.
My laptop bag is everywhere with me, and you'll find my my water bottle.
Okay.
So those 3 things, it's always there with me anywhere I go.
If you had to live in a country, would it be tropical or cold country?
I would live in the maritime regions or rural places in Fiji.
Would you love to lose money or love?
Money.
Money.
You can always get money back. You can't, once love and trust is broken, you can't get it.
Favorite sports?
I would say it has to be rugby. Very close with soccer.
Okay.
But union rugby.
Okay.
15s.
Right. So my final question would be, and this would be more like, have you ever thought that you will be sitting with SN and talking about all this?
I honestly,
Fijis.
I wish my grandmother was alive.
Oh.
Growing up, I listened to you so much because she was a huge fan, and she would literally fight everybody. And that time you had one of those big radios, and that was the only one, and you had to go and tune the station. So my brother would listen to FM 96, and he was with the hipsters. Back in those days, the Backstreet Boys and the Kya Surat Hai songs. And my Aji always used to say, no, Satyanand is coming online, I need to,
listen
time. And she would go and literally take a chair and sit beside the radio and guard it.
Oh my God.
So by...
I wish I could meet those kind of fans.
Not by choice. But I also developed hearing you, and I listen to your masala mix when I can when we drive.
Do you get that hatred at times about me or what I do on
I think
radio?
It's hard to hate you. I think if anybody hates you, they have a serious problem. Because from what I see, you have a different brand of journalism whereby while you are interested in everything else, I think your brand, and this is me growing up till everything I've observed, my personal opinion, you like to make people laugh and you like to make them happy, and world needs a lot more Satyanands, I guess. I think we don't have enough people.
I'm smiling with those comments. Those positive comments really motivate me. But thank you. It was a pleasure having you in my sort of like studio, and I enjoyed. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. I just hope we had more time.
Okay.
And
there's always a next time.
Next time?
Yeah. But I hope you enjoy the coffee, and I hope the chat that we did, you'll laugh about it, you'll talk about it, and tell your friends and share with it.
Well, I can say this has been a very refreshing interview. I've done so many interviews over the last 7 years. This has got to be one of my favorite interviews.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.